Hello everybody, and it is time once again for some RPL action. It is Tier 2, and it is the season finale. We are in Brazil. The Drivers' Championship has already been clinched. The Constructors' Championship has already been clinched. Now it's about second place for the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship, and some records to be broken. Firstly, the first record that can be broken is the most amount of Constructors' points in a single season. Red Bull can do just that today. Red Bull, 323 points on their total tally. The total a single Constructors team has got ever in a single season of Tier 2 would be 335. So Red Bull need to score 12 more points. Behind that, Ferrari and Alpine are in an intense battle for second place. Alpine, a lot of momentum recently with podiums. Ferrari started off the season strong. They got back on the podium in Las Vegas with both cars. So now it's time for Ferrari to do their magic and get second place in the championship. They hold that gap over 6 points when it comes to battling Alpine. As for the Drivers' Championship, second place is also a big talking point as well between Bonkers, Minions, and Groggers. Bonkers ahead of Minions by 7 points. Minions ahead of Groggers by 9 points. I'm your commentator, Ryan Ocon31, so glad to have you. Last week, we saw a winner in Tier 2 by the name of Bonkers. And he moved from Ferrari to Red Bull. And what a story that was. What a talking point it was as well. The magic that he was able to do on Ferrari's home soil. Now they're trying to do it at a really a strong track for Ferrari as well. And maybe even a stronger track for Red Bull. So yeah, we're going to have to find out with 36 laps upon us here today as well what shall happen. As for last week, it was Bonkers, Molly, and JTK, your podium. Beatnik got his 3-second removed. Then it was JTK who got his 3-second removed. So a little change there up at the podium. JTK's last 3 finishes have been inside the top 3, or top 5, excuse me. 3 of them in a row. Alright, mic check. Is this working again? Let's see. I hope it's working. Can anybody hear me? I think it's the same stream, but we're just going to double check. If it's not, that's an issue. I don't know why it's been cutting out like that. If that keeps happening, that's a genuine issue. A very severe issue. No, it says it's the same stream. Okay. Okay, I don't know why that's going on like that, but let me just check something here. Yeah, no, everything looks fine. Again, I don't know why the stream was not working and it was going on and off, but yeah, apologies if you're just joining us. I'm gonna make sure that stream in the bottom right keeps showing up. But yeah, as from last week, you know, Williams trying to hold on to 9th, AlphaTauri trying to hold on to 8th, and Alfa Romeo trying to hold any sort of ground and I'll finish 10th. They have 12 points. They're 12 points back from Williams, so a lot to play for, as mentioned. With that said, let's go over some breaking headlines, changes, penalties to be served. Kai, if Kai does join us, Kai has a qualifying ban. As for any headlines, I think we went over a decent bit already. But this is the final round of the season. Final round of the Tier 2 season. It should be tons of fun. Tons of fun. F2 signups are still available as well. You get to sign up either full-time or as a reserve. Recently, Singapore made a track change. Instead of 2 chicanes, it's just a little straight there. No DRS at all. The Ferrari livery is still in the game. the special livery that was used in Monza in real life. McLaren got a car upgrade as well, which is why you see that person switch from Alpine to McLaren. And as previously mentioned not too long ago, JTK won his appeal and got the podium over Beatnik. So good points for Aston Martin. And I believe with the drivers we have being loaned as well, we're going to have some more qualifying bans, but now it is time to ready up. The stream already had 2 problems, so I apologize if there is some technical difficulties. If there is, please, please, please stay with us. Great to have your company. Chat, let us know who you're rooting for today. In today's race, I am alone as commentator. Also, Brazil is always an interesting track when we come here for any sort of league race. And I say that because not only the turns itself, 15 turns in the track. There's also the factor that this is a very, very old racetrack compared to some of the previous tracks that we tend to run this season and just in general. This dates back a while. This track has so much history. 2 DRS straights as well, a lot to gain time. Just action-packed racing around this track every single time you come to it. So, anyone watching today's race is going to have a fun time. And Sinks would like to root for himself. I would like to root for you too, if I'm being honest. Mainly because you're also trying to catch up to 4th place in the championship just a little bit. A lot of places in the table that could change, a lot of places on the track that are all worth fighting for. The most interesting fact about the whole Red Bull debacle, with the amount of points they have, trying to break the constructors' record for most points in a single season, the thing I notice is that there are no Red Bulls in here right now. So what's that record going to look like? Probably not going to happen. Ferrari trying to hold on to 2nd as well. We mentioned that in the pre-race show. The tricky corners that I would say, personally, I would start, honestly. You could say the Senna S's are tricky, but I'm not going to. You could start with turns 6 and 7. A very interesting part of the track where you kind of have to feather the throttle. It's very weird with how it is. We'll get to it in a moment. I'm going to say turn 11 is also tricky as well. And just because of nailing it and not feeling fast enough through a certain area, I'm going to say turn 12. I'm going to say turn 12. All those, turn 11, turn 12, turn 6 and 7. Those are your tricky corners we're going to watch out for today with the drivers. There's already somebody on the racetrack that is Strat Racer. Gecko, I believe, is serving a qualifying ban, so that is why he is retired from the session. But here we go. Strat Racer is the first racer on track. How's that? Also, I want to mention too as well, for those of you who are watching the stream, I have a thunderstorm within my area, so we're going to turn down the volume first on my TV. It's a little loud. Might have heard it, might have not, I don't know. But if power somehow does go out, do not be surprised one bit, because I've already had that happen once today, and it was storming like crazy last night. So hopefully the same does not happen again. So obviously we had the stream already go out twice. I don't think that had to do anything with it. 2 technical difficulties. We are hoping 3rd time is the charm. So here we go. Strat Racer coming through the Senna S now, clipping the inside curbs, doing what he can to find the time, hugging those curbs. That is exact. What in the world did we just have happen? That's a glitch. Okay, I'm going to need an invite back to the session. I will need an invite back to the session. We get interrupted on a hot lap there, but we'll be back with the action in just a moment. As you see, it says people are leaving the session. They are not. It is on my end, and I'm really hoping it fixes itself. Yeah, not the internet I was wanting today, and just the just thunderstorms as well. Just definitely not helping it around the area. It's not too bad right now, but it's a storm forming, so hopefully we do not have anything too severe happen within the next hour of action in RPL. With that said, what I'm gonna do here is join back the session, and obviously join as a spectator, so we can bring you the action once again. Now, someone must have lagged out, because it does say 15 drivers. No one did, okay. Unless whoever it was just joined back the session. As for that, it's time to talk about, in my opinion, some of the wins and podiums from drivers this season as well, in my honest opinion. We have Red Bull with 7 wins. We have Ferrari with 3. Owen and Bonkers have 3. 3 apiece. 6 combined. Instincts with a win. Minions with a win. Groggers with 2. As for podiums, Red Bull have 14. Ferrari with 5. Alpine 4. Haas 3. AlphaTauri, Merc, McLaren, Aston Martin, they all have 1 apiece, and the 2 teams without a podium this season would include, and I don't know why people are leaving the session unless that's just me catching back up. There's definitely some issues there. Unless there's a restart, which I'm going to find out right now. There's a restart. That makes sense now. Well, at least we lagged out a decent time. No, I was going to mention as well, again, getting back onto the topic I was talking about. AlphaTauri, Merc, McLaren, Aston, 1 podium. As for teams who don't have a podium, Williams and Alfa Romeo, they sit 9th and 10th in the constructors respectively, and probably for that reason that they don't have a podium on the season. So a little restart gets in the way, but we will keep you updated on action, and we're going to keep the stream up, especially because the fact that we do not want the stream to do the same thing that had happened last time with coming down on us. I don't know why that happened either, but we're going to prevent it from happening, which is the good thing. As for chat, let us know if you are a racer in chat or if you are rooting for some of the people in the lobby. A little bit of a spike downwards on the amount of viewership we have, but I'll still keep you covered because I know there are a lot of people, in fact, who watch these races back, who like to watch the action, listen to what I say, see what happens, hear the headlines, or just follow RPL. I mean, that's what I did for the longest time before becoming commentator. I always followed RPL on Twitch and watched things back, and now look where I'm at. Funny enough, that was 2 years ago too, when drivers such as Polo God, F1 driver, there's definitely a few others surely on that. Beatnik was still racing by then too. A lot of those drivers I were good friends with. That was more like 3 years ago probably, to be fairly honest with you, but even within that time span, that's when I would always watch, and that's where we'd get, and here we are. Since we're speaking of that, here are the drivers who have podiums this season. Owen, Groggers, Bonkers, Minions, Instincts, all multiple. Then you have Polo, Sam, Adam, Jackstar, Tadpole, Molly, and JTK, your 12 drivers who have a podium on the season. Either way, just waiting for all the drivers to get in. I believe almost all of them are in. Potentially all of them. And then once that happens, we'll get the action back underway. Give us your predictions for today, chat. I would love to see who you guys think will win, who will get pole, who will get on the podium. As for the action this weekend, it's important to catch us. Tomorrow for F2, there is a constructors battle on the line as well between Searles and Prema. Prema have won it before. Searles have not. Searles have finished a best of third in the championship. As for the drivers, that's already clinched. Skither, congratulations on the drivers' championship. Tier 1 has a long way to go. We're about to reach halfway in the season. So that should be a ton of fun. Watch that as well tomorrow. Both evening onwards for the UK people. For the times itself. For both regions, you have 11:15 a.m. Eastern, 4:15 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. UK, and 3 p.m. Eastern for the times. So, tons of action this weekend for RPL. And this is just starting. This is just starting it all. Hello, Valkyrie. It's good to have you in chat. Since we're speaking of you, I want to mention a stat that I think does not go noticed well enough. And maybe it's something to maybe brag about, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it when it comes to the end of the season here and with everything on the line. You have Red Bull and Ferrari who've won races. 7 wins for Red Bull, 3 wins for Ferrari. 5 of those being different drivers. But the thing that comes out to me most, and by the way, there's 8 different teams who've been on the podium. I find this so weird how Valkyrie, she is P8 in the championship, and is the highest driver in the championship without a podium to their name. So you look at some drivers who've not got the results but kept it consistent still in the process. Valkyrie is one of those drivers. Also, another driver is Tadpole. Tadpole is the only driver in the top 6 in the championship without a win currently. Tadpole always finding a way to sneak his way in, it seems. Did it when he was out at Alpine, and looking to do it again. All right, now it's time to get underway once again for qualifying. Attempt number 2 at this. Let's get it underway. And hopefully we can stay in session to go over outlaps with the drivers. This should be tons of fun to see what lines they take and where they can find the time, because that's the most important thing around a racetrack like this. Find the time, take different lines, and what's your setup looking like? Low downforce, high downforce? What do you want to go with around this track? And the strategy becomes very interesting, which we'll talk about during the grace period. You could probably hear the background noise in the game, but speaking of finishing on the podium in every race, Owen has not finished worse than second in his starts the season. Owen going from Red Bull to Ferrari, and as you see, Bonkers down here for Red Bull, transferring Ferrari to Red Bull, as previously mentioned. And all he needs to do to break that record that we were talking about pre-race is score 12 points. If he can do just that, he ties the record with 12, but if he goes over 12, he does break that record. Just getting a little bit chilly in my room, I must say, and thunderstorms forming, but hey, it looks like it's staying away, and I think we've had a lot of weather. We hope that stays away, whether it's real life or in the game recently. Britain was one of them where we had a lot of weather stay away. F2, we did not have the weather stay away. After that, we really wanted it to stay away, and hopefully this weekend as well. We're at Hungary for Tier 1 and Abu Dhabi for F2. Hopefully we do have weather stay away. For those races, it's to be expected at Abu Dhabi that it does stay away. So, let's see what happens there. Checking the driver's chat. Blue Goggy says he's got Ronhar's number. Well, how much BS do we think is in that, or how much credibility is in that? We'll go on board with the driver who won last race to start this lap. How about Bonkers in the Red Bull? You know, and the interesting thing I find with Bonkers as well as we start this lap is the fact that 2 different teams he's won with now, and the fact that with Bonkers, not only did he win with 2 different teams, as he's getting a little tow from the Williams there, he also helped Red Bull's chances of beating this record last week with the win, because Minions was completely out of the race. As he goes to turn 6, turn 7, a tricky area through the track, an area where you may want to feather the throttle as previously mentioned. Turn 8, turn 9 now, hug the inside, 3rd gear through here. You see ERS already being dumped and already below halfway. Right here is the Alex Albon corner, as we like to call it. Turn 11 now gets a little tricky. That section you may slide a little bit if you're not careful on traction. This corner seems always tricky to hook up. I think Bonkers has done just that. Coming out of the final braking zone, heading to turn 14, 15, basically non-existent. Alright, well, I don't know what the issue is with the stream. That's the 3rd time it cut out. I jinxed it. My apologies. FBL, Jim Bob Gecko serving qualifying bans, by the way, to put that out there. Whole field of Brazil around 8/10. Not a bad gap, by the way. That's kind of what you want to see. You want to see a gap that's like that. If the stream does cut out again in the qualifying session, I'm going to transfer internets. To the other one. I have 2 different ones. I don't want that happen again for you guys, because I do want you guys to stay tuned in and for the best stream possible too, but I apologize for the technical difficulties we're having. Blue Goggy is next to come across the line for a lap, followed by the Alfa Romeo teammate, who looks like he is going to come into the pits and call it quits for the first half of the session. Blue Goggy goes 10th. No points in the Tier 2 season. No problem with 6 guys. We're going to miss out on points today. Goggy may try to take advantage. However, him spinning out is not going to help that just yet. There's Mercedes coming to the line. That's Beatnik. Beatnik is going to abort the lap completely, though.
Let's hope we see a good effort from McLaren here today. In recent times, they've fallen to somewhat of a midfield team. The last time the constructor won a world championship was in 1998.
All right. Molly's on a lap. Molly's going purple in the 2nd sector now. Let's see what Molly can do. Molly podium last week. It was mentioned that Molly should have been disqualified last week, but Molly got permission to run in a car that's outside the top 4, and you can see exactly what Molly's doing with a car that's outside the top 4 again. Puts it 7th fastest, and surprisingly enough, all those cars really close on pace. 7th fastest for Molly. How about that? Track Racer back on a lap. We'll go on board with him and talk about him. Podiums when it comes to F2 in this season. No podium when it comes to Tier 2. Obviously, Williams backmarker team are looking to overtake AlphaTauri at the end of today. We'll just have to find out if it will be enough. They just need 1 point to do so. Well, technically 2 because the tiebreaker rule. Here comes Track Racer. Coming out of the final corner. And going to start a lap here around Sao Paulo. Let's go through the corners here at Sao Paulo as he heads toward turn 1, the Senna S's. A very famous corner when it comes to these circuits that are ran. Clipping the curbs, sliding just a little bit. You're basically wanting to hug the curbs at any point possible as you go up the gears there. Now he's going down the Reto da Pasta. And Decino Lago. Turn 4. Now turn 5. Again, wanting to hug those curbs. Right here is not where you want to hug the curbs. Turn 6, turn 7. A tricky area. He's not fully on the throttle, 100% right there. Turn 8 now. 9. And heading to turn 10. Traction a little tough. Now going to shift down to third, second now. Again, not full throttle all the way out of there just yet. Turn 11 on his way. And Jun Xiao at turn 12. Just a corner no one seems to get right sometimes. Spoke about that in Las Vegas. Corner no one seems to get right. Well, that's different. This corner is one people more so get right, but you just don't feel fast enough in that area all the time. 13, 14, 15 coming to the line for Track Racer. Where's Track Racer going to be? It is 6th fastest for the Williams driver. Are we an equal again? That's my question, because that's why we restarted in the first place. It did look like we're unrealistic. Let me just check again. Where would it say equal cars? You know what? I apologize for completely forgetting where it says that. Lobby options. Full car setup. Where would it say equal? You know what? I am not going to worry about that right now. If we're unequal, I'm sure one of them will figure it out. However, Bonkers goes fastest in the Red Bull, and that is by 2/10 over the competition. That person currently sitting on the front row as we're about to reach halfway in this session. Everyone still seems quietly close. And really, the closest I think the grid has been since USA, personally. Oh. That was a lightning strike outside my window. Here we go. Time for that person. Never mind. He's not going to start a lap. My bad. My bad. We have L74G and Blue Goggy who are planning to start a lap here, actually. L74G sitting 3rd place in the timing charts. Blue Goggy 12th, trying to score his first points of the season. It has not been pretty for Goggy this season at all. I think before that, Goggy would get a few points per season, but it's just gone downhill for Goggy. And he's hoping to do better, which is all you could kind of ask for. I see the conversation they were talking about earlier. At the very top of the simulation settings. Okay, I was on that earlier. Let's see. Simulation settings. Okay. It is realistic. Okay. I never noticed that. They changed the wording of it. So thank you a lot there, Tadpole. You know, see, I tend to forget sometimes, and just does not help me one bit at all. My headset's getting tangled. Let's fix this before I commentate. Over L74G's lap. Instincts, 3/10 off the top of the board. He clocked in a time. Also, L74G will be the next one to clock in a time, coming through turn 11 now. Riding on board with the AlphaTauri driver. Battery going below 30% right here. Now turn 12. 2/10 down in his time and clipping that curb right there. Gotta try to find some traction out of it. Clips the grass, trying to find some time. I don't think it's going to be enough for him to improve. Here comes L74G to the line. It's abort time. Blue Goggy also on the lap, but Blue Goggy is invalidated. Beatnik is yet to set a lap. Beatnik coming to the line now in the Mercedes. Beatnik. Almost a podium last week. Gonna try for redemption. Maxing out the revs. 4th place for Beatnik ahead of Valkyrie. Close gap between him and his teammate. Speaking of Valkyrie, she's on an outlap now. 6th place in the charts. There was someone who just went up the charts. That was Jack Starr in the McLaren. 8th for an improvement. Not bad. Also on time on the board is Owen. Almost 2 tenths up. Can Owen